a perfume saint, displays his wonders. To everything there is a season, and a time to every purpose under the heaven. I did not have this wisdom of Solomon to comfort me. I gazed searchingly about me on any excursion from home for the face of my distant Guru. But my path did not cross his until after the completion of my high school studies. 2 years elapsed between my flight with Amar toward the Himalayas and the great day of Sri Yukteswar's arrival into my life. During that interim, I met a number of sages, the perfume saint, the tiger Swami, Nagendranath, master of Mahasaya, and the famous Bengali scientist Jagdish Chandra Bose. My encounter with perfume saint had two preambles, one harmonious and the other humorous. God is simple, everything else is complex. Do not seek absolute values in the reality world of nature. These philosophical finalities gently entered my ear as I stood silently before a temple image of Kali. Turning, I confronted a tall man whose garb or lack of it revealed him a wandering sadhu. You have indeed penetrated the bewilderment of my thoughts. I smiled gratefully. The confusion of benign and terrible aspect in nature, as symbolized by Kali, has puzzled wiser heads than mine. Few there be who solve her mystery. Good and evil is the challenging riddle which life passes spinach like before every intelligence. Attempting no solution, most men pay forfeit with their lives. Penalty now, even as in the days of Thebes. Here and there, a towering lonely figure never cries defeat. From the Maya of duality, he plucks the cleaveless truth of unity. You speak with conviction, sir. I have long exercised an honesty introspection, the exquisitely painful approach to wisdom. Self scrutiny, relentless observation of one's thoughts is a stark and shuddering experience. It pulverizes the toughest ego. But truth self analysis mathematically operates to produce seers. The way of self expression individually acknowledgements result in egotist, sure of the right to their private interpretations of God and the universe. Truth humbly retires, no doubt. Before such arrogant originality, I was enjoying the discussion. Man can understand no eternal verity until he has freed himself from pretensions. The human mind, barely to a centurion's line, is teeming with the repulsive life of countless world delusions. Struggles of the battlefield pale into insignificance here. When man first contends with the inner enemy, no mortal force these, to be overcome by an harrowing array of might, omnipresent and resting, pursuing man even in sleep. Subtly equipped with miasmic weapons, these soldiers of ignorant lust seek to slay us all. Thoughtless is the man who buries his idols, surrendering to the common fate. May he seem other than impotent, wooden, ignominious. Respected sir, you have no sympathy for the beleaguered masses. The sage was silent for a moment, then answered obliquely. To love both the invisible God, repository of all virtues, and visible man, apparently possessed of none. is often baffling, but ingenuity is equal to the maze. Inner research soon exposes a unity of all human minds. The slatward kinship of selfish motive, in one sense at least, the brotherhood of man stands revealed. An august humility follows this leveling discovery. It ripples into compassion for one's fellows, blind to the healing potencies of the soul awaiting exploration. The saints of every age, sir, have felt like yourself for the sorrows of the world. Only the shallow man loses responsiveness of the woes of others' life. As he sinks into narrow suffering of his own, the sadhu's austere face was noticeably softened. The one who practices a scalpel self-decision will know an expression of universal pity. Release is given him from the defiling demands of his ego. The love of God flowers on such soil. The creature finally turns to his Creator, if for no other reason than to ask in anguish, "Why, Lord, why?" By ignoble wisp of pain, man is driven at least into the infinite presence, whose beauty alone should rule him. The sage and I were present in Calcutta Kaliga temple. Whither I had gone to view its famed magnificence with a sweeping gesture. My chance companion dismissed the ornate dignity. Bricks and mortar sings as no audible tune. The heart opens only to a human chant of being. We strolled to the inviting sunshine at the entrance, where the throngs of devotees were passing to and fro. "You are young," the sage surveyed me thoughtfully. "India too is young." The ancient rishis laid down ineradicably patrons of spiritual living. Their hoary dictums suffice for this day and land. Not outmoded, not sophisticated against the glees of materialism, the disciplinary precept mold India still. By millenniums, more than embraced scholars care to compute. The static time has validated Vedic worth. Take it for your heritage. As I was relevantly bidding farewell to the eloquent sadhu, he revealed a clairvoyant perception. "After you leave here today, an unusual experience will come your way." I quitted the temple persons and wandered along aimlessly. Turning a corner, I ran into an old acquaintance, one of those fellows whose conversational powers ignore time and embrace eternity. "I shall let you go in a very short while," he promised, "if you will tell me all that has happened during the years of our separation." What a paradox! I must leave you now. But he held me by the hand, forcing out tidbits of information. He was like a ravenous wolf, I thought in amusement. The longer I spoke, the more angrily he sniffed for news. In word, I petitioned of the goddess Kali to devise a graceful means of escape. My companion left me abruptly. I sighed with relief and doubled my pace. Daring any relapse into the garrulous fever, hearing rapid footsteps behind me, I quickened my speed. I dared not to look back, but with a bound, the youth rejoined me, joyfully clasping my shoulder. "I forgot to tell you of Perfume Baba, who was gracing yonder house." He pointed to a dwelling a few yards distant. "Do meet him. He is interesting. You may have an unusual experience. goodbye, and he actually left me. The similar worded predictions of Sadhu at Kaligat temple flashed to my mind. Intrigued, I entered the house and was ushered in a commodious parlor. A crowd of people were sitting, orient-wise, here and there on a thick orange-colored carpet. An awed whisper reached my ear. Behold, perfume Baba on the leopard skin. He can give the natural perfume of any flower to a scentless one, or revive a vital bloom, or to make a person's skin exude delightful fragrance. I looked directly at the saint. His quick glance recited on me. He was plump and bearded, with dark skin and large, glamming eyes. Son, I am glad to see you. Say what you want. Would you like some perfume? What for? I thought his remarkable, rather childish. To experience this miraculous way of enjoying perfumes, harnessing God to make odors. What of it? God makes perfume anyway. Yes, but He's fashioned foil bottle of petals for fresh use and discard. Can you materialize flowers? Yes, but usually I produce perfumes like friend. Then scent factories will go out of business. I will permit them to keep their trade. My own purpose is to demonstrate the power of God. Sir, is it necessary to prove God? Isn't He performing miraculous in everything everywhere? Yes, but we should manifest some of His infinity, creativity, variety. How long did it take to master your art? 12 years. For manufacturing sense by astral means? It seems, my honored saint, you have been wasting a dozen years for fragrance which can obtain with a few rupees from a florist shop. Perfumes fade with flowers. Perfumes fade with death. Why should I desire that which pleases my body only? Mr. Philosopher, you please my mind. Now stretch forth your right hand. He made a gesture of blessing. I was a few feet away from Perfume Baba. No one else was near enough to contact my body. I extended my hand, which the yogi did not touch. What perfume do you want? Rose. Be it so. To my great surprise, the charming fragrance of rose was wafted strongly from the center of my palm. I smilingly took a large white scentless flower from the nearby vase. Can this odorless blossom be permeated with jasmine? Be it so. The jasmine fragrance instantly shot from the petals. I thanked the wonder worker and seated myself by one of his students. He informed me that Perfume Baba, whose proper name was Swami Vishnudananda, had learnt many astonishing yoga secrets from a master in Tibet. The Tibetan yogi, I was assured, had attained the age of over 1,000 years. His disciple, Perfume Baba, does not always perform his perfume fest in the simple verbal manner you have just witnessed. The student spoke with obvious pride in his master. His procedure differed widely to accord with diversity in temperaments. He is marvelous. Many members of the Calcutta intelligentsia are among his followers. I inwardly resolved not to add myself to their number. A guru too literally marvelous was not to my liking. With polite thanks to Saint Baba, I departed. Sauntering house, I reflected on the three varied encounters the day had brought forth. my sister Uma, met as I entered the door. "You're getting quite stylish using perfumes." Without a word, I motioned her to smell my hand. When an attractive rose fragrance, it is unusually strong, thinking it was strongly unusual. I silently placed the astral scented blossom under her nostrils. "Oh, I love jasmine." She sneezed the flower. A ludicrous pufflement passed over her face as she repeatedly sniffed the odor of jasmine from a type of flower she well knew to be scentless. Her reactions disarmed my suspicion that Saint Baba might have induced in me as auto-suggestive state whereby I alone could detect the fragrance. Later, I heard from a friend, Alakananda, that the perfume saint had a power which I wish were possessed by the starving million of the world. I was present with 100 other guests at Perfume Baba's home. Alakananda told me it was a gala occasion because the yogi was reputed to have the power of extracting objects out of a thin air. I laughingly requested him to materialize some out of season trangring. Immediately, cheese had served on all the banana leaf plates became puffed up. Each of the bread envelopes proved to contain a peeled trangring. I bit into my own with some trepidation but found it delicious. Years later, I understood by inner realization how Saint Baba accomplished his materializations. The method, alas, is beyond the reach of this world's hungry hordes. The different sensory stimuli to which man reacts, tactile, visual, auditory, and olfactory, are produced by vibratory variations in electrons and protons. The vibration in turn are regulated by prana, life trance, subtle life forces, atomic energies intellectually charged with 5 distinctive sensory ideal substances. Perfume Baba, the pranic force, by certain yoga practices was able to guide the life tone to rearrange their vibratory structure and to objectify the desired result. His perfume fruit and other miraculous were actually materialization of Monday vibrations and were not inner sensations hypothetically produced. Hypnotism has been used by physicians in mirror operations as a sort of psychical chloroform for persons who might be endangered by any aesthetic. But a hypnotic state is harmful to those often subjected to it. A negative psychological effect ensures that in time deranges the brain cells. Hypnotism is trespass into territory of another's consciousness. Its temporary phenomena have nothing in common with the miracles performed by men of divine realization. Awake in God, true saints' effort changes in their dream world by means of a will harmoniously attuned to a creative cosmic dreamer. Wonder workings such as those shown by perfume saint are spectacular but spiritually useless. Having little purpose beyond entertainment, they are digressions from a spiritual search of God. Ostentatious display of unusual powers is disguised by masters. The Persian mystic Abu said, once laughed at certain fakirs who were so proud of their miraculous power over water, air, and space. A frog is also at home in the water, Abu said, pointed out in gentle scorn. The crow and the vulture easily fly in the air. The devil is simultaneously present in the east and in the west. A fellow man who may buy and sell, yet is neither for a single instant forgetful of God. On another occasion, the great Persian teacher gave his views on the religious life. Thus, to lay aside what you have in your hand, to bestow freely what you have in your hand, and never to flinch from the blows of adversity. Neither the impartial sage at Kaligat temple nor the Tibetan trained yogi had satisfied my yearning for a guru. My heart needed no tutor for its recognitions and cried a spontaneous bravo the more resoundingly because it was unoften summoned from silence. When I finally met my master by sublimity of example alone, he taught me the measure of a true man.